I truly believe with all my heart we will be raptured during Feast of Trumpets this year.
Brother Joshua is not a false prophet. Anyone who has said he is a false prophet is going to owe him an apology. Mark my words.
You can't allow sin to go unpunished. I think this, I think that. No! Shut up!
Me and Max are ready for the rapture.
If you are currently watching this video, congratulations, you have survived your second rapture in the past 3 weeks. If you've been living under a rock, then you probably haven't heard of the supposed rapture that was supposed to take place on September 23rd and 24th, according to the prophet Brother Joshua. People have been selling their cars, giving away their houses, and even giving their kids to CPS because they were going to get raptured, and their kids wouldn't. Spoiler alert, the rapture didn't happen. Now, if you're still living under a rock, then you probably didn't know that October 6th and 7th was the real rapture date, also claimed by Brother Joshua. Essentially, the same single-digit chromosome Christians claimed that they weren't wrong in their prediction. Jesus was. Now, I understand in this video, I'm going to come off as really harsh towards Christians, but it's not Christians, right? It's the Christians who believe, not even believe, the Christians who proclaim the rapture. It's the Christians who are on TikTok telling you that you are going to hell and crying that, you know, they're getting messages from Jesus saying that the rapture is going to happen.
I see everything. I know everything. I know the wickedness in your hearts. You think I don't know? You think I don't know about Charlie Kirk?
Those are the Christians that I take a problem with, right? If you believe in the rapture, that's fine. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. I have several friends that are Christian. Look, it's not the Christians or Christianity themselves, okay? I just want to make that very, very clear. But anyways, we here in the West and in several other countries use the Gregorian calendar. This is just our typical 12-month calendar that we've been using since, I don't know, like 1752 or something like that. So Brother Joshua had originally said that it was going to be September 23rd and 24th on the Gregorian calendar, or at least it was implied. And by the way, Brother Joshua made that prediction because he said Jesus came to him in a dream and told him. So this was Jesus telling Brother Joshua this, okay? This was not Brother Joshua, it was Jesus saying this. So after the September 23rd and 24th rapture unsurprisingly didn't happen, Brother Joshua has now come out and said,
"No, I wasn't wrong. Israel is using the Julian calendar. So that means that Jesus was referring to the Julian calendar. The rapture is still going to happen."
Is that not like the stupidest thing you've ever heard? Like, holy shit, dude, the links that these people are going to justify their insanely moronic prophecies is just insane. They will go to the point of literally claiming that Jesus, the one who cannot lie, who cannot sin, the perfect human son of God, is the one who technically said the wrong date, not them. Also, a little unrelated, but I just want you to watch this video of how this woman comes to the conclusion that the rapture date is on September 23rd and 24th.
I'm going to show y'all something mind-blowing. If you times 6 times 6 times 6, you get 216. If you add 216 plus 612, which is 216 backwards, you get 828. Stick with me because this is mind-blowing. And I'm going to show you how intentional God is. So that equals 828. If you add 828 plus 828, you get 1656. Do you know what happened in that year? 1656 represents the year Noah's flood is believed to have occurred. If that hasn't blown your mind already, keep listening. We know in Genesis chapter 6, verse 15, it tells you the measurements for Noah's ark. 300 cubits, 50 cubits, and 30 cubits. If you times all of them together and then times it again, you get this. 2025 plus 8 zeros. How many people entered the ark? 8. How many years has it been since the Revelation 12 sign in the sky? 8 years. We also know that 8 means new beginnings. The Feast of Trumpets is on September the 24th of this year. If we times 9 times 24, we get 216. Remember, we already came up with this number. Now, September the 24th on the Gregorian calendar corresponds to September the 11th on the Julian calendar. And we know their obsession with 9/11,
right?
So enough of that. If you didn't know, the Julian calendar, which is what the new rapture date is, I guess, based off of, September 23rd and 24th in the Julian calendar is October 6th and 7th. And I know, God must have a terrible sense of humor if he's coming back on October 6th, 7. But anyways, the point is, September 23rd and 24th ends up being October 6th and 7th in the Gregorian calendar. Why Jesus wouldn't tell Brother Joshua, who is familiar with the Gregorian calendar, that it would occur on October 6th and 7th is just stupid, right? Also, let me catch you guys up on some of the Brother Joshua lore, like who he is, where he came from, and what his true goal is. So Brother Joshua, whose real name is, I'll put it on screen. I really don't know how to say it. I think it's Joshua Malikla or something like that. I really don't know. Anyways, Joshua Malakakaka appeared on the Sent Twins TV podcast. Now, this podcast was not that big prior to Brother Joshua appearing on the podcast. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but genuinely, they would average anywhere from 30 to 85,000 views per video. Actually, I mean, that's really good, right? That's actually really, really, really good, but it's nowhere near the hundreds of thousands mark. That was until they invited Joshua Malakakaka on their podcast. Their views immediately spiked, getting over 600,000 views, putting their channel in the spotlight. The first podcast he showed up in was posted June 16th, 2025, which was around 3 months ago. In this video, he makes a few big claims, but the most important one was his prediction. At the 38-minute and 55-second mark, Joshua Malakakaka claims that the rapture will be on September 23rd and 24th.
He says to me, on the 23rd and the 24th of September 2025, I will come to take my church.
So at first glance, this might seem like a legit thing, right? He says September 23rd and 24th, and, since it didn't happen on the Gregorian calendar, he can turn around and look at the Julian calendar and say, wait, no, it's supposed to be on this calendar. That is what most people think. The people who are bought into the first rapture date are also buying into this second one, and let me tell you why this doesn't work. If we skip ahead to the 41-minute and 44-second mark, we can hear Brother Joshua connecting this entire rapture date to the Feast of Trumpets. I'm going to play a clip real quick and see if you catch what he says.
Because they marked the day by sighting the new moon. So if they sight the new moon on the first day, so that day they celebrate the Feast of Trumpets. Or if they sight it on the second day, then the second day becomes the celebration of the Feast of Trumpets.
Okay.
So he says to me, another thing that I forgot, he says, in these 2 days, another thing that I forgot, he says, no one knows which day or hour I will come. This is what he says.
Okay.
So the 15th of September, when he returns to be king on earth, it will be on the day of Atonement Feast. It's also a festival that is a Jewish festival.
Did you catch that? Brother Joshua literally said that Jesus told him that it would occur on the Feast of Trumpets. He said on the first day and the second day, no one will know the hour. So he said that Jesus is telling him this, and it didn't happen on the Feast of Trumpets. I think people are missing this. People are just kind of forgetting about the Feast of Trumpets and are just attaching themselves, I don't know the right word. They're just like accepting this new date without looking at what made the original prediction quote unquote believable. One of the largest parts about this newest prediction was that it was going to occur on the Feast of Trumpets. Like that made everything look that much better, right? Brother Joshua says, I had this dream, Jesus told me this, and it's going to occur on the Feast of Trumpets. The Feast of Trumpets was September 23rd and 24th on the Gregorian calendar. It's not going to occur on October 6th and 7th, right? It's just not. So it loses complete validity. And I just noticed this really, like, as I started recording this, I'm like, wow, this is such an obvious error in his logic. Instead of just admitting, being like, oh wait, no, okay, maybe the Feast of Trumpets had no validity, right? Maybe that wasn't of any significance. They're still running with it and people are just not catching it, okay? I'm I'm stuttering here, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around this nonsense. So on my script, I also put like a little note to the side, and it says, when the Sent twins attempt to question Joshua, he always grabs command of the conversation, making the host feel awkward and give him the stage and their undivided attention. This is a way for Joshua to spread his message while avoiding any questions regarding the obvious gaps in logic and truth. So I have 2 clips of this podcast that I'm referring to. I haven't seen the entire podcast, which, yeah, I guess shame on me. I don't want to waste an hour of my life watching a podcast. The entire podcast is about a rapture date that didn't happen. So yeah, I'm not gonna even sit here and defend myself. Like, I'm not watching this dog shit. So I'm gonna play you guys the 2 clips that I'm referring to, and you're gonna immediately see Joshua shut down any sort of questions.
Is closing in. The set time that God had put.
This is absolutely disgusting. I think that this is the most important aspect of this entire situation by far. The fact that he predicts the date in connection to the Feast of Trumpets. Joshua making a prediction of the actual date gives the gullible Christians something to cling on to and to worship. And yes, I said worship. The idea of getting sucked up by God, and being lifted into heaven is awesome to some. Not most people, because most people think that that's terrifying, but some do. Getting to leave this earth and all of its problems behind in exchange to get to live in heaven with the God you worshiped your whole life sounds great, right? That's what these Christians want. That's what they live for. I truly think that this is a form of escapism, kind of like an adrenaline rush for these people. It's like getting that excited feeling in your stomach the night before Christmas, believing that a fat bald man that watches you sleep will illegally enter your home and make out with your mom. I mean, give you lots of presents. Okay, I'm kidding, but seriously, it's like that feeling. I believe that these people are subconsciously bearing any doubt or intellect that would suggest to them that the rapture isn't gonna happen. These people are only listening to others who share their insane prophetic views. Speaking of these gullible Christians that fell for this whole mess, let me show you the thought process of some of these people.
The rapture, the #1 most talked about topic on TikTok right now. Rapturetok is trending, and it's the best thing that could happen at this hour. Yes, I said it. It's the best thing. If a lot of these videos that I'm coming across, and I mean like every 3rd, 4th video that I come across on my FYP, is people with massive accounts, people with huge accounts, mocking and scoffing at us for believing in the blessed hope of the appearing of Jesus to come and take us his bride. And I'll give you 3 good reasons why it's a good thing. Firstly, it's a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. The Bible says that in the last days there will be mockers and scoffers, basically saying, where is he then? Where is the promise of his coming? A lot of these people don't even know they're fulfilling Bible prophecy. It's really ironic. Secondly, a lot of these people with these big accounts that are talking about the rapture, they're being used by God to introduce the concept of the rapture to a lot of people who don't even know about the rapture. Yes, the rapture is real. It is a biblical concept. It is real. And in fact, there will be multiple raptures. So you've got all these big accounts, making fun of us, not realizing that God is using.
So some of you probably recognize this guy, and I don't even know his name, but I've seen several of his videos. He was one of the only people who ended up apologizing, which props to him, I guess, but honestly, that's bare minimum. Anyways, the point he makes in this video is that the Christians who believe the rapture is happening can't be wrong. He explained that either the rapture happens and the prophecy of the rapture is fulfilled, making Christians right, or the rapture doesn't happen, but because people are quote-unquote mocking and scoffing, the prophecy mentioned in 2 Peter 3:3, where Jesus says, "Above all, you must understand that in the last days scoffers will come, scoffing and following their own evil desires," will be fulfilled. They're saying that fulfills the prophecy in 2 Peter, which is not true. That is just not true. They're making an infalsifiable or unfalsifiable claim, right? Regardless of what happens, it's a win-win scenario for the Christians, right? I mean, regardless of the outcome of the rapture, at least one prophecy will be fulfilled. This is the stupidest mindset ever, and I genuinely can't even believe that they believe this. According to this prophecy, at least in the way that they are using it, they can't be wrong. This same dingus posted this video.
Brother Joshua is not a false prophet. Anyone who has said he is a false prophet is going to owe him an apology. Mark my words. It would be better for anyone who has called Brother Joshua a false prophet to delete their video, to make an apology video right now. You don't just call someone a false prophet and get away with it, because by extension you are slandering God. And when you realize, September 23rd to the 24th, that Brother Joshua was correct, you're going to have the worst feeling in your stomach. There will be a rapture come September 23rd to the 24th. Mark my words. These words will not fall.
The audacity of this man. I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now. So this guy is a supposed prophet himself, which I guess now it's clear he's a false prophet. He fully backs Brother Joshua. He's saying, like, he's like telling you, yes, like on my life, this guy, Brother Joshua, he is the man who he says he is, and Jesus will be coming back. Okay, so let me get this straight. He says something along the lines of, you don't just call someone a false prophet and get away with it.
You don't just call someone a false prophet and get away with it.
First off, that sounds like a weird cryptic threat. It's such a weird way to put it. He then explains that doing this, calling out Joshua Malakabaka for being a false prophet, you're slandering God? What? My question to this guy is, okay, if we call out Joshua Malakabaka for being a false prophet, if that's slandering God, my question is, what should the punishment for you and Joshua be for being a false prophet, right? I mean, you were supporting a false prophet. You swore by it. You told your entire audience. So since it didn't come true, he is a false prophet, making you a false prophet. So what should your punishment be, right? Since you said that the people calling out these false prophets, including yourself, are slandering God, what does that mean you were doing? If a large community of non-believers, people who don't even believe in Jesus, tell you that the devil is deceiving you and your prophecies don't come true, you are worse than a non-believer and you are doing an awful job of representing your beliefs. It's funny, my friend Reed is a Christian and he has been for the majority of his life. I'd consider him a great Christian. He's detail-oriented, he has good discernment over most things in life and especially religiously. He doesn't fall for stuff like this. He can tell a false prophet from a mile away. It's funny, he didn't even know that the entire rapture ordeal happened until a day or two after the rapture was supposed to happen. The only Christians who are falling for this entire rapture garbage are the same people who would pay a $2,000 parking ticket from Costa Rica, a place they've never been. They would also pay it by giving the Indian scammers the $2,000 and $50 Google cards. I seriously don't understand how those scams even work. The scammers are like, oh yeah, you owe this parking ticket from Zimbabwe and you have to pay it in Google gift cards because, you know, that's the currency we're running with. Those are legitimately the only people I could ever imagine falling for this crap, even one bit. So some of you are probably wondering, Emander, why does this even matter? Why not just let the crazy gullible Christians believe in what they want? It's not hurting anybody but them, right? My answer is, actually, it hurts far more people than you realize. First off, it affects those who are mentally challenged, at least not enough to have a mental capacity to devise their own thoughts and opinions on matters like these because they don't have the brain power. The same goes for kids. I know I would have 100% fallen for this if I was a kid. Now look, I get it. Religion, especially a religion that was forced upon you since you were a child, can be really hard to question or let go of. Some of these people who have fallen for this are intellectually vulnerable and have likely been fed much of this fear-mongering nonsense from others, likely family members or close friends. This entire rapture prediction is exactly that. Fear-mongering. The entire point is to scare the masses, making them think that they only have weeks left to give their lives to Jesus before it's too late. What happens if you don't give your life to Jesus by that time? So this is what hell looks like. Essentially, the rapture, or at least how the rapture is handled by Christians, is fear-mongering. Christians tell you that Jesus is coming soon. That's a very important word, soon. And if you don't repent and follow Jesus soon, you go to a place of eternal suffering and punishment, set to burn for eternity. Now again, I promise, this video is not supposed to come off as a critique to Christianity at all, right? Or Christians. I just think that you should be able to believe in whatever you want to believe in without scaring the masses. When the original rapture prediction unsurprisingly didn't happen, some dingus made a video explaining that Brother Joshua was actually right. But yeah, guys, we were all wrong. It is on September 23rd and 24th. On the Julian calendar. When Jesus said September 23rd and 24th, he wasn't referring to the Gregorian calendar, the one that the whole world is familiar with and that Brother Joshua, the prophet, is familiar with. No, he was referring to the Julian calendar. Why would he tell a man who was only familiar with the Gregorian calendar and that had no clue about the Julian calendar until this guy told him? Like, why would he not just go to the guy who knows about the Julian calendar, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Oh wait, I think I know why God chose him. It's because this guy's from South Africa and has a funny accent, so clearly he isn't lying, right? So this guy, whose name I won't even mention, was the one who came up with this entire Julian calendar bullshit, to which Joshua Malata and his ass decided to immediately run with that idea. Anything to keep this madness going. In Joshua's prideful mind, he is God's favorite creation, God's pride. And guess what? He's just going to keep going. He's going to keep prophesying until the day he dies. I'm serious. He's going to keep the charade going for as long as gullible people keep following him. Joshua is creating a cult All he needs is a few devoted followers that believe in his message, and he's set. He can manipulate them in horrific ways and get them to do horrific things in the name of their religion. If you seriously have to ask why this is a bad thing, you should, like I said earlier, people are selling their belongings, things like their cars and houses. Why? I have zero clue. I don't even understand what the thought process is to selling your house and cars if you're just gonna get raptured anyways. Wouldn't someone just break in anyways and take it? Do you need the extra money from selling it? Wouldn't it be better to give the house and car stuff to people for free? I mean, if you truly believe and have strong faith, that is. See how that works? Less gullible people, or a better way to put it is smarter people, can easily take advantage of these delusional people and end up taking all of their valuables legally. I mean, from the soon-to-be raptured Christian's mindset, they don't need any of their belongings, right? This allows people like Brother Joshua to create a group. Name it something with God in the name. Let's just say God's Promise. He creates this group, or rather business, and he convinces gullible Christians into believing that the rapture is coming. Then he explains that the entire website and business structure will pawn off the houses and belongings to those left behind on the tribulations who give their life to Christ. It's an honest-sounding business proposition. Actually, it sounds more like a charity than a business. Until the rapture doesn't happen and Brother Joshua runs away with all the assets he tricked the Christians into signing away in the hopes of a rapture. That's just one scenario that I made up in like 5 minutes. And if you say that that's completely unrealistic or whatever, I don't care. It's just a real possibility, and I think the only reason Brother Joshua didn't do it the first rapture prediction is because he's literally incapable of forming coherent thoughts. Besides all of this, it makes Christianity look really bad from outside of the club. It groups together all Christians from all 45,000 denominations into one big slop bucket. This also heavily affects those who fell for this whole mess. Imagine thinking you were about to go to heaven to see all your deceased friends and family members. Imagine getting to leave all the stresses and bad parts of your life behind and being happy for all eternity. But it just doesn't happen. I'm sure it feels awful, and I feel genuinely bad for those affected. But anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. See ya.